Martin Wittmann is our Chief Product Officer and probably the second person who knows most about our product and everything you need to know besides Marcus. So every time I go to you, Martin, you have a perfect answer for me, and I really value this very much when we talk about the frequency programs. So, and for those people who don't know, we have actually two different kind of programs. We have a so-called systemic program, and we have non-systemic programs. And the systemic programs, you always realize with a little bubble on top of them when you choose them in the app. So Martin, can you explain us, please, what is the difference really between those different types of programs?
Yeah. So basically, the non-systemic programs are usually one frequency or two frequencies. So from scientific studies and so on, also our certified or cleared programs like the pain program or FDA cleared program is also one frequency that actually in a big study, basically it was shown that it actually helps in this regards. So it's a very narrow thing, one frequency, one purpose, and you have to have very good results. And the difference is that if you now look at the systemic programs, like Marcus said, you have a symphony of different frequencies. So basically, you're not addressing one single thing, but you're addressing a lot of different things, or some complex issue, you would say. And for the systemic programs, there are three different steps in those systemic programs. So one is called real time. Real time means you have a bandwidth from 1 to 1 kilohertz, and then you analyze with the quantum sensor which one is the right frequency. And then you apply it for 10 seconds. And then you analyze the next frequency and apply it for 10 seconds. So you have a big bandwidth and millions of different frequencies which you can pick. And the order is always depending on your actual state. Then you have the next step, which is also included in some programs, which is called resonance. So this program, you can also have one bandwidth from 1 to 1 kilohertz. There are different bandwidths. And then you also pick a frequency. And then you analyze how long does your body need this frequency. So how long is the body adapting to the frequency, or how long is your body absorbing the frequency and absorbing also the information of the frequency, of course. And then you have this progress. Some might recognize it. So below your program icon in the Healy app, you have this minus something to plus something. And this actually goes from minus 100 to plus 100. And then you analyze how long do I need it. So it's always analyzing a few every 2 seconds or something. And then at 95%, you say, okay, you don't need this frequency anymore. Analyze the next frequency. And then you have the final step, which is called indication, because you indicate something with this. So you basically have a big database, the gold frequencies. And in this database, for example, you have frequencies, that are stimulating or that are supporting the liver or supporting the kidneys. And then you pick exactly those frequencies. So that's what our practitioners basically did. They picked those frequencies, and that's why we have so many different systemic programs. They picked those frequencies, handpicked, and put them all in this step. And what now happens, that's why Healy is not only a symphony of different tones and notes and frequencies. No, there you have the specifics. So you have one specific thing. So you have someone with a flute, and then you hear the flute very loud, and then you see, okay, this frequency is now analyzed out of a narrow bandwidth of frequencies. And then you also apply it with progress. So you analyze how long do I need actually this frequency. And that's why it's a very, very specific thing. So everyone knows it when you take the example that Marcus took. So if you look at the symphony, there are parts when everything works together, harmonic. And then there's parts when someone sings very distinct and everything else gets in the background. And those steps are basically in the systemic programs.
Thank you, Martin. But like you were talking about 95% of progress, when a program is running and the saturation of 95% is reached with a certain frequency, this frequency is taking out because your body has enough of it. But sometimes when you watch this progress, it doesn't say only plus in progress, it goes also in minus. Why is that?
Yeah, that can easily be explained. It's like if you drink a cup of water and then sometimes you think, okay, cup of water, I'm not thirsty anymore, that's okay. But sometimes you drink a cup of water and then you see, oh, I'm really thirsty. Now I'm recognizing that I need much more water. I need to drink much more to actually get my fluid in the body to a level that it's healthy again. And that is the same with the frequency. So sometimes it's like, okay, your body actually needs much more of this frequency. So you have basically a negative thing or a negative balance in your body. And then you see, okay, it goes to minus. Then you know, okay, my body is really needs this information right now. And then it goes up, and then it's 95%. It's okay, enough of this information. Please give me something else.
So when you're using frequency programs, is there anything else you should keep in mind?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's a very important question also, because most people, like with everything, you think more is better, or I do it this way because I think, using it in a certain manner is actually always right. And that's not true for everything, basically, but especially for frequencies. You need to know if you're in a good state, so you're in a healthy state, so you are someone who does a marathon or you want to do sports, then you know you are healthy, you're fit, and then you can absorb more frequencies, more information. Your body can deal with more information. If you're someone who's sick or tired or something, you need less information. You can easily see it when you watch a movie, which is very hectic and lots of pictures. Then it's like, okay, not so much. And if you have a headache, you can't even watch it. And that's just the same for frequencies. You always have to be careful not to overwhelm your body, your whole system with information, because every frequency has an effect. And if you give your body the time to absorb the information and actually to process it, then you have the most benefit out of it. So if you have a low energy level and a low state in your body balance, basically, you should use only a few programs, or maybe one a week only, and see how your body can absorb the information, how you actually benefit from it. And then if you see, okay, I'm fitter, I'm better, then you use more programs and see always the fine balance. So that's also an intuitive thing, that you intuitively basically feel how much do you need and how much is good for my body. The next thing is, of course, if you then use the frequencies, you always should use them with a lot of water, fresh water and really clear water. Because as you know, when you go to bed, all your digestive organs, all your kidneys and also your liver, they are working the whole night. And in the morning, when you go to the toilet, you see, okay, there are lots of things that's going out of the body that need to be cleared. And also with frequencies is the same thing. If you trigger lots of things in your body, then of course your body needs to work on it. Your whole body functions are producing more energy, maybe, or producing more how do you call it? Basically, if you have a cell and then the cell is working, you have the mitochondria and so on, so something goes in which then creates energy. So the cell is creating energy out of it, and something has to go out. And the more things you trigger, the more cells are working, the more needs to go out. So you need to always drink good water. The second thing, of course, is we are working really with microcurrent. So microcurrent is something the body knows. So all the body or some of the body communication goes with microcurrent. So if I tell my foot to go up, then you have current flowing through my body, and then it actually moves. And we are working on this level. And what happens on this level is also that you have electrons going in the body, electrons, and then going out of the body. And sometimes there's a disbalance. As everyone knows, we have lots of plastic in our shoes, in our environment. So all those electrons cannot flow normally like they would. So always go also out just a few minutes barefoot and step on the normal ground outside in the grass maybe, and then you level again with the earth, and then your electrodes and your basically your voltage of your whole body then levels again. And that's very important with frequency programs, because you are always introducing electrons in the body. And of course, the last, and maybe not the last, but one of also very important things is that you need to take care that if you use the frequency programs, you actually basically double check yourself. So don't use them and say, okay, this is today, this is tomorrow, everything is planned out, or I have now this problem and I always need this frequency program. No, you always need to really trust your intuition. How does it affect my body? And no, and it's not about your mind, it's now about your intuition, who actually should guide you how to use the frequency programs. And that's something only your body can tell you. And that's also what Healy is about. Healy is about giving you back the opportunity to take your life and your balance and everything, your wellness, your well-being back in your hand. And this is only possible if you actually listen to your body.
Thank you, Martin. Also, another question we hear very often is that when it comes to setting the intensity level in an application, in German we have a saying, I'm saying it in German, viel hilft viel, means so as like roughly a lot helps a lot. So is it really true that you have to go as high as possible to have the best effect?
No, actually, there's a small window where you have the most benefit, basically. So too much is too much, and it's with every drug, with everything you take, with everything you eat, too much is too much. So there's always a perfect window where it feels good. Your body benefits the most from it. And that's all for frequency applications. Is if you slightly feel that the current is flowing or even below, then you are in a level where you actually get the most benefit. So there you have the combination of the current, microcurrent, which has an effect basically, and also the frequency, which actually has the information that is going to your body. And there is this, when you slightly feel it tingling and a little below, there you have the maximum effect. Also, of course, you can see it with the indicator. So you have the indicator, which is black and white. And when it's black, no current is flowing at all. So if no current flows, of course, you have no microcurrent part in your application anymore. Of course, you have always the information part, because if the Healy blinks with the right LED, actually the generator is generating the frequencies. And of course, if you have some current going through the Healy, you have also a small magnetic field, you have also the information part of those frequencies. And this, of course, has an effect. But if you want the microcurrent, this indicator needs to get white. And if it's white, actually current is flowing. And of course, there can also be that your electrodes basically are not fit, so that they need to be tight, not too tight, that should feel good. And then also, if you have dry skin, then you, of course, have too much resistance, and the current is not flowing. So there always a little water helps. Just apply a little water and then apply the electrode, and then the current is flowing again, and you have the most benefit out of every program.
So it's actually quite funny, because this is how we humans work sometimes. You know, I have seen so many people trying the Healy, and there are frequencies you feel, and frequencies you don't feel. So the lower a frequency is, the more you feel it, and the higher it gets, the less you feel it. So the funny thing is, when people try and they don't feel anything, they automatically assume it's not working. And the minute they feel a little bit of tingling in their fingers, then it's also the perception, oh, this must work. So, but it's actually not the case that you have to feel it strongly or it has to be painful or whatever, but it's working even if you don't feel it. This is, at the end of the day, really the message, because it's just also sometimes our perception, what we think is working and what is not.
Yeah.
So really, thank you very much, Martin, for being here with us today. It's always great to hear from you, and looking forward to hear much more of you, of course, as well. Thank you, Martin Wittmann.